All right. Good evening, everybody. Darren Adair with American Hospitality Consulting. Welcome to Great Minds Sessions 14. It's hard to believe that we are this far into 2022 already. It's going to be March soon. It just feels like I blinked and here we are. Today, we are going to be talking about how it's time to get known and what we can do to help with that, because things are changing. We're starting to see openings happening. Restrictions are being lessened, and it's time to really get back out there and start reconnecting, if you haven't been doing this, with your guests and your people to let them know, hey, we're here, we want to see you. And just how can you do that without having to spend a lot of money or even a lot of time? There's some great ways to get into that, but I really want to talk about what are some of the things that you're doing to stay connected to your guests and get known. I'll share some of the stuff that I'm working with and have got going on, but really want to hear some ideas on the different ways that you are reaching out to stay in touch with your guests and utilizing that to grow your business. So, and it's really come from some of the things that I've been seeing recently, where working with some of the new organizations that I'm connected to, and how there's some restaurants that just seem to be doing this fabulous job of reaching out, posting videos, doing simple things that are creating excitement around their brands. And in essence, it's really not costing them anything unless they're boosting posts or that kind of thing. They're getting this stuff done fairly cheaply, but it's having a major impact on the other side of it. I had a conversation earlier today with somebody because I told them that I've recently joined TikTok, and he's kind of trying to figure out, why does a 52-year-old man who is a consultant need to have a TikTok account? And my answer to him was that because the people that I'm talking to and our restaurants who are hiring people that are in those age ranges, for the most part, 16 to 34-ish, are using TikTok. And it is a way to communicate, connect, and stay in touch with them and talk about our brand. And how can I talk to them about it if I'm not utilizing it myself and getting a better understanding of how it works and what else is on there? And in the 3 days that I've used it, I've already gone down a couple of rabbit holes, and 45 minutes later, I realize I'm still watching TikTok videos. So maybe getting a little too addicted, and I may have to work on that a bit, but it's all in the vein of trying to get educated on that system. So those are the things that I really wanted to kind of talk about today, because I don't know if you guys are seeing this in your markets, and I don't know how much you're on social and how much, I mean, if you're on TikTok, but it seems TikTok is showing up everywhere. You see it on LinkedIn, you see it on Instagram, you see stuff on Facebook. So it's one that's really growing, but there's a lot of ways out there to stay connected with your guests, to talk about your brand. And I think there's still too many people out there who don't see the value that social media can provide to their restaurants. Looking at some stuff earlier today, there's a restaurant that's close to me that it's called Charlie's on Pryor. It's a great place. I go there all the time. They have got 16,000 followers, and 40,000 people have checked in at that restaurant. Those are some huge numbers. And they do put a lot of stuff out. There's a lot of stuff they send on email. They do some text stuff. So they're doing a lot of good things. But you think of that, 16,000 people follow that one restaurant. And when they do posts, they're only getting 23 likes and a couple of shares. If they do videos, they're getting closer to that 1,300 views. So it's getting them a lot more traction. So that's one of the things I'd like to talk to you guys about and ask your thoughts on is, how are you seeing, or how are you using your socials to kind of grow your brand or help the people you're working with to grow their brands? What have you seen, and what types of things have you been doing? Both of you are in a bit of a different markets, but there are different ways to support. I mean, Anton, how many brands do you work with? Too many?
Just one, ultimately.
Okay.
And it's a little different on my side of industry, I guess, on the food service. I don't have to advertise to 16,000, 100,000 million people. Where target advertising it's almost going back to like cold calls, warm calls situation. So it's not really, I can't really speak for advertising to the masses, but I definitely see a lot of advertising. And my biggest pet peeve, I know we're even talking on kind of on topic here, but I wish that people would, especially in like a TikTok and social media advertising, stay on, stay grounded in reality without being too much of a clickbait and, providing some unnecessary high expectations of the product they're trying to advertise. That's my thing, right? Like it's
Right.
Back in my day, you always wanted to be consistently good. You do not want to present yourself as super awesome and then drop the ball 150 times a day. But you want to make sure that, you provide a realistic picture of your business.
Yeah, and I get that, and I think I share some of that as well, because you want things to be genuine, you want them to be real, right? So those over the top things probably aren't what you're really looking to do. But I guess, and then Adam, I'll let you answer the question, then I'll go into it a little bit more. But are you guys using social in any way? Or I mean, I know you're pretty good with that stuff, but is it a concerted effort to do some certain things?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, to answer your question, yeah, we use the traditional methods for, connecting with guests and potential guests. All the common players. I like what Anton said though around, and I'll tell you, as a consumer myself, I have social media fatigue. I'm kind of done with it all because it's just corporate drivel sometimes. So I'm trying to be conscious of that in our own posts. And obviously when you're representing a brand, you got to be professional and you got to be, you got to follow the standards. But I try and ask our social team to, use real photos from guests and credit them, but make it real, make it, no one wants to see yet another corporate picture in their feed.
No.
You know what I mean? So I'm all about what he said around genuine. I love that comment.
Yeah, most definitely. And some of the things that I've seen recently, and one of the reasons why I wanted to talk about this a little bit is there's another place close to me that has started utilizing, it's an ice cream shop. And what they've started doing is they're utilizing their team, and it's introducing their team so that people get to build a relationship with the staff that are working in there. But it's also highlighting, what's their favorite product. I like this acai bowl. I like this shake, and they have fun with it. So it's a real atmosphere. They're not, in essence, really selling anything. They're talking about their business. They're talking about their team. They're sharing what the team likes, but it's creating that atmosphere of, it's kind of a fun thing to do, right? The kids are all loving it. And the way I'm looking at that is, you're highlighting your product without doing that direct sales of anything. So you're selling without selling, right? But you're also, when it comes to the recruiting side of things, you're showing you've got a pretty cool, fun atmosphere. And it's probably going to help. And I'd love to hear both of your feedback on this in the recruiting aspects, because you're showing what type of culture you have within your four walls. You're showing that you've got that, it's a fun place. There's good morale. You're going to come in there and be part of a fun team. What are your thoughts on that?
No, you go first, Adam.
Yeah, no, I think what your point is great. I mean, you're touching on now recruitment, targeting recruitment posts versus targeting guests to come in. So it's a critically important part of social media, and I think it's not, I don't think people put as much importance on it as they do the consumer side of it, and it should, because it does demonstrate the atmosphere, the culture of the restaurant. And yeah, I mean, even ones where we don't directly do stuff like that, we have our team members posting on TikTok from the restaurant singing and stuff, and that goes to their friends. So we've hired a number of people who are friends of theirs just by seeing the environment that was created in the restaurant and the culture that was fostered.
And I do think it's a bit of a missed opportunity. And when you can highlight a positive culture, especially right now and in our industry, it can't, I mean, it has to help. right? Because that's one of the big things that I know we've been struggling with is that image that's been painted the last couple of years. When you can show that positive culture and that fun environment, it's going to have that positive impact. So that's good. Anton?
Yeah, just pretty much mirroring the thought there. If we can turn that and I speak for the of the industry specifically, not necessarily in general, rather not specifically, not anything specific, but yes, if we can use social media to help rethink and reimagine our own image. I think that would go a long way. And obviously, again, this is all about the genuine things, not the stock corporate picture of host as a server and a cook smiling in clean uniforms, but some live shots, right? And if it's
Exactly.
like candid shots, I think those are even better than polished off, photoshopped images. I think that's if we can show people outside of the industry that not every restaurant is a horrible place to work, right? And bad apples obviously, but most of the time just talking to people, it's fun place. And but at the same time, people that apply, they need to know what they're expecting, right? Because if people expect, I know it's tough to say, but if you apply in a restaurant and expect to work 10 hours a week and 3-hour days, then chances are it's your expectations will not be met, because I hate to say this, but it's tough business, right? And it's stressful, and it's but you have to be prepared. And when you apply, we also have to tell people, it's like, that's the stuff that you get.
Just if I can jump in, that's bang on. I mean, I know a lot of people who I think are kidding themselves and paint a fantastic picture of a restaurant, and we're desperate to hire people, so they make it look like it's the best job. And while we all love this industry, we have our reasons for that, whether it be experience or just tenure. We love the ability to feed people, love the hospitality aspect, but it's not for everybody. And our good restaurant leaders make that clear in the interview. Not that we're trying to push people away from accepting the role, but you'd rather know now than later that someone can't stand on their feet for more than 2 hours. And that's a lot of that in the restaurant business, right? So setting those expectations clearly up front. We have fun, we work hard, we play hard, for sure.
Yeah.
And that, definitely fair points. One of the things that I've been looking at is a way that right now, a lot of the stuff you're seeing online, I mean, you'll see all these different posts, usually from a guest perspective, or you never get the good stuff. And this is a tough business. You're going to come into the restaurants and you're going to work hard. And I agree 100%. You need to make sure that people coming in truly understand what the business is all about. And you're right, it's not for everybody. We've all had that server who should not be working in the hospitality industry, right? I mean, let's face it. I had one a couple of days ago. I don't know if you guys saw my video. Hey, Trina. If you guys saw my video, that I went out for dinner with my wife the other day at a restaurant. We had started coming to when we first moved down here, loved it. And the last time we were in there on Friday, it was Fish Friday. And my wife likes having the fish at different restaurants. So she asked the server, what's the fish like? And he said, well, it tastes like fried cod. That's how he explained it to us. And then at the end of the meal, he's like, so how was it? Did it taste like fried cod? Seriously? So we know those people are out there. We've seen them. We've had them in as our servers. But the narrative about our businesses is being created by those who are outside of our businesses. And one of the ways I see this is it's an opportunity for us to utilize some tools, connect to those people, to show them that, yeah, that stuff happens. I mean, I got lots of videos from my old days where, I'm the guy whose restaurant had the snake thrown at the people behind the counter because we wouldn't fry their onions, right? I mean, those things happen. But if we can share some of the other side of the business, that, yeah, you're going to work hard, but it can be very rewarding. You can have a lot of fun. You can make some amazing relationships in this business. Utilizing these tools to create the story ourselves, to create the new narrative, I think is an opportunity for all of us to address some of that. So, I'd love to hear your thoughts on that.
Oh, absolutely. It's just kind of what we've discussed already. But yeah, it's re redesigning the image of the industry. Ultimately, right? We need to come to an agreement that we're not the easiest to work for. We're not the easiest to work at. But at the same time, it's like you said, it can be a lot of fun. I worked in a restaurant for 10 years in Boston Pizza.
Right.
Started from the bottom, went up all the way to the top, and you know, it was fun, for lack of a better word. Absolutely.
Yeah. Yeah. And the topic tonight is about getting known. And my reason that I wanted to talk about some of this stuff is you need to get known for the right things. And nobody is going to tell the story about that better than you are as a restaurant owner or operator, whatever. So how do we make ourselves better equipped to do that? So, and there's a lot of ways, people are struggling, prices are going up, wages are going up, it's tough to get stuff. We need to have business coming into our restaurants. Some guys are still struggling. I've actually had guys tell me this year, oh, I can't do that. I'm too busy. I'm making too much money. I don't know when that was ever a thing anybody would say, but I've actually had a few people say that to me this year. It blows my mind. But where was I going on that tangent? We need to find ways to really bring that back to where we need it to be. And if we allow everyone else to keep telling the story, I think it's a missed opportunity. And the great thing is when you learn how to use these tools, it doesn't have to cost you a lot of money. I mean, you can boost a post for as little as $25. You can spend a lot more than that if you want to, but it's knowing how to use those tools, because if you're just going out there and you're putting stuff out there and you're boosting it and it goes out there and you don't know where it's going, that's not going to help you either. Right. So I'm guilty of this myself. When I was doing some stuff before I learned a little bit more about how LinkedIn works, I was getting out to like 1 million people. That's awesome. None of them had anything to do with hospitality. Not so awesome. So understanding how to utilize the tools or have somebody on your team who does do that can help you to pinpoint where your stuff is going. Right? Utilizing the tools to say, okay, we're going to do a promotion for this. And it's going to be a free kids under 12 eat free this day. Well, if you're sending that all out to your 20 to 25-year-olds who aren't married and don't have kids, it's not going to help your business.
Yeah.
So there's some simple ways. There's simple courses you can find online, stuff from Facebook and LinkedIn. They've got tutorials and people who will help you a little bit with that stuff. There are ways to do it. There's some organizations that will help you do that. Obviously, you can spend money to get that stuff done. But I think the other side of it is we need to start looking at, we're very good at what's the cost as opposed to what's the value. And a lot of us were brought up in that type of looking at things. I know I've dealt with some owners that were very much cut cost, as opposed to looking at what's the value I'm going to get if I do this. And I know it's tough to do. It's a lot easier said than done, but it's a change of mindset. And I think if we start utilizing some of the tools and do more to get ourselves known in the community, it's going to help address a lot of the challenges that we're having. It may create new problems for you, but that's what you want. You want new problems. You want to take care of the ones you got. If your problem is, I've got too much business, then you're doing something right. Right?
Yeah, and you touched on a very interesting topic, the value versus the cost, because ultimately it's kind of a, for, I want to call us an older generation. We're not that young anymore, but ultimately we may not perceive the value of social media specifically, right? Because like Adam said, that you're on almost a Facebook social media overload.
Mhm.
I honestly am not really following my Facebook as much as I used to back in the day. So it's really for us to figure out, who do we want to advertise, how do we want to advertise on that social media, make sure that if something does go what do the kids call it, go viral, then we're prepared for that outcome. So it's it's for us to learn and for our younger staff to use, I guess.
Yeah. And I mean, that in itself, when you've got the younger team members, they would probably love to do that kind of stuff for you, right? Because it's fun. They enjoy doing it. Hey, I can pull my phone out at work, which is a whole separate topic. But I think it's not going to go away. I get there's been some overload, but we've been locked in the house for 2 years, so we haven't much else to do other than watch Food Network and look at Facebook. So I'm sure that's got something to do with it. But it's also, there are opportunities that I think we need to be a little bit more open to, and it's changing a bit of a mindset. It's that mindset of technology is moving in a certain direction, and we can either figure out how to utilize it to our benefit, or we can sit back and let others figure it out and bypass us. And that's where I'm really seeing the opportunities, because, and I'm working with a couple of groups right now that, loyalty programs, building guest databases, learning their spending habits, so that you can do a better job of pinpointing what you're sending out, and systems that allow you to post to your media, to your social media, and giving you different content. And I've had those guys on, and I'd hope some of them would be here tonight, but Frank from Close By, which is a digital guest loyalty program that builds that database so you can do some of the things we've talked about. And America's Best Restaurants, Restaurant Marketing That Works, same thing, where you're helping people create their own narrative, but get better connection to the community, because you're stuck in your restaurant working it right now because you're probably short-staffed. These are tools you can utilize to help you connect with your community when you can't be out there. Not saying that we shouldn't be going out into the community. I'm all for that. I was at a ribbon cutting today. I was at a networking group today. By the way, I haven't bragged yet, but if you didn't see, I won Business Person of the Year for Prior Lake, Minnesota. So that was kind of cool. Wasn't expecting it, but that's the type of stuff that I'm talking about. Being engaged in your community and using the tools so that you can continue to stay connected is going to help you in the long run.
Yeah, I like what you said though too, back around the million, the post to million, because it's one thing to send a post, but it's one thing to send a quality post. And
yeah,
I know in our I'd worked with some people who, their metric was 1,000 followers. Get to 1,000 followers, you're good. So I know people who went out and bought followers, and so their posts just aren't organic. They're reaching 1,000 people, but it's meaningless because it's bots or people who were paid to be followers. So yeah, the organic piece is so critical.
And that's something that I can't understand that. You need to grow that, like you said, organically, because those are people who are actually concerned or care about your business or engaged in your business or have been to your business. So that's why they're signing up and following you. And there's some simple ways to do that. I mean, QR codes are huge everywhere. And one of the things I was talking about with somebody earlier today is a lot of people are still using the QR codes. And that same Charlie's I was telling you about it looked like a cell phone, and they had a QR code on it. It was hard plastic so they could sanitize it and wash it, and you'd scan it for the menu. But before you get to the menu, it gave you the opportunity to join their VIP program. So you're getting the person's birthday, you're getting their email, you're getting their cell phone, and then they're getting onto your menu. And they utilize that. I mean, message came out almost right away saying, hey, welcome to the club. They've got a birthday program. They send you updates. You can earn points while you're there. It's just another way. These are the things that are going to keep those regulars engaged and get them coming back more often. Right? But it's also an education piece, because that same restaurant that I was at on Friday night, I joined their VIP program, asked the server what it was. He said he had no idea. He went and talked to all the managers who were on duty that night. They had no idea. Questioned whether or not I was on the right restaurant. And I had to show them the website that I'd gone on to on my phone. So, it's not just a simple set it and forget it. It does take some effort. It does take some time. But even if you're only doing one post a week or one share a week or that kind of thing. As you build, Grant Cardone calls it your power base, and utilizing your power base. Your power base is your parents, siblings, your best friend, your neighbor, the people that you know and are connected with. Get them started. They can like, share, follow. And it's like that old VO5 commercial back in the day, and they'll tell 2 friends, and so on and so on and so on, so that as people are seeing more about you, it's like, hey, maybe we should try this place out. One of the companies I'm working with, America's Best Restaurants, their CEO, Matt Plapp, tells a story how he's taking a different route to work because the car he's now driving, he likes to take it on the highway because it's a fast car. And then he realized he hadn't been to his favorite restaurant in a few months because he wasn't driving past it every day. Out of sight, out of mind. They know who he is. They know it's one of his favorite restaurants, but they weren't doing anything to communicate with him over that time period to re-engage him, making him think about that restaurant. Right. So it can be those simple, almost subconsciously, you'll see something out of the corner of your eye and it'll pick that up. It'll put you in there, into your people, into guests' heads. So they say, hey, you know what, we should go back there. We haven't tried that out. And if you can think of all the guests you maybe have lost, if you can get them all to come back even once, what's that going to do for your business?
Yeah, that's an interesting point. Absolutely. I'm just trying to think how many restaurants I haven't been to in 2 years that I used to go monthly. That's yeah.
Right. And we've had this conversation before, but for those that did the things, they went into the third party delivery, or they've developed some sort of an online ordering system and that kind of thing, made it easier for you to stay connected with them and get their product, are probably the ones who are going to fare better when the doors reopen than the ones who didn't do that, if they're still around.
Yeah.
Right? Because you know who they are. You remember them. We're creatures of habit.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, if you look at it that way.
Awesome.
Oh, now I have to make a list. Now you tasked me.
Yeah, I want to make people think. I want to inspire. But again, I've obviously talked about this a lot, and I'm a big social media guy. I use it a fair bit. I've got my 3 LinkedIn pages. I got my 2 Facebook pages. I got my 2 Instagram pages. I'm on Discord. I'm on YouTube. I'm now on TikTok, which is absolutely crazy, but I see it as an opportunity and a way to continue to stay connected. And there's a lot of things that I have seen by being on these things, like articles that I've read on LinkedIn, which is probably the one I use the most because of what I do, that have been great education pieces for me of different things that are going on in the industry, different opportunities. I've connected with people who are talking about different things that we can do to address some of the challenges from our industry, right? So I think there is a bit of a fear around it, and especially for people who are maybe not into it very heavily or a little bit older, they're scared about how to do it. And I think, to Adam, your point earlier, there is that little bit of, God, I'm just sick of all the BS that comes out on social media. That's, it just clutters up the stuff that you want to see. But there's still an opportunity on there. And there's things that we like to see, things we want to see. And I don't know if you see, Adam, our old co-worker's daily posts about his family happenings. Mr. Rodaway.
Oh, yeah.
Right. It's quirky little stuff, but it's kind of fun because it's just different things that are going on, and it makes you smile, and it's kids growing up and that kind of thing. Right. So there are certain things when we look at those, or our memory pops up, it reminds us of certain times. And so there is a good value to that. So if you can have those types of things where a memory pops up at your restaurant that you can then share out, it's going to create that same type of emotional connection to your business. And if you're creating that emotional connection, you're going to have that more of a loyal following. And that's why I wanted to talk about this tonight. I do apologize. I'd hope to have a lot more people on here tonight that are doing a little bit in this space and could talk a bit to it. But, I think it is something that we need to look at how we can implement it a little bit better, effectively. Both of you talked about it. I love the comments that it has to be genuine, because if it's fake, if it looks contrived or, touched up or whatever you want to call it, it's not going to make that emotional connection. It has to be real. And I think those are the types of things that can help a business move forward.
Yeah.
So, okay. Well, any other thoughts on the topic, guys? Any other things that you'd like to share? Any questions you've got? What's your big plans for 2022? What are we doing to, I know, Adam, you talked a bit about what you got going on, but my tag for this year is best year yet, or best year ever. That's what I'm shooting for this year. I'm tired of not having those, and I'm working hard towards that. What are you looking forward to in 2022? What are the things that you're seeing, or are you on the path to making this year your best year ever?
We'll see in about a month.
Yeah.
Now I'm just going for a stable year with everything going on, and it's everything here in Alberta, and then I'm sure you guys are having too much fun in Ontario right now. It's just hoping for some stability for a change. Right. And once everything's stable, then people can actually start making realistic long-term goals. I think that's my wish, right, to be able to say, you know what, this is what I want to do, and I will do it, instead of, this is what I want to do, and I'm hoping when I'm going to get shut down in 3 weeks because of this. It's definitely an interesting time. I mean, yeah. In Alberta, everybody's cautiously optimistic, but we'll see.
I've used that term myself as well. I'm shooting for that best year ever, but the last two have been interesting. So still cautiously optimistic, but shooting for making those big goals. My BHAGs. You guys know what BHAGs are, right? Big, hairy, audacious goals.
Oh.
So trying to create some of those so that I can push myself a little bit further, because damn it, it's not going to be like that any longer. It's got to be good. We've earned it.
Yes, we have.
All right, Adam, any final thoughts from you?
No, I'm with you. Hope isn't a strategy, but I am hopeful that we can see some stability in our lives, and we've been kind of whacking the moles as they pop up for the 2 years now. I'd like to put the bat down for a bit.
Yeah, fair enough. Well, listen, guys, that if there's anything that I can do to help, you know how to find me. Don't hesitate to reach out. That's what I'm here for. This is all about. And, just let me know, and I'll do what I can to be there for you. So I appreciate your time. Thank you so much for this evening. I'm going to let you guys go. But your thoughts were appreciated, and I look forward to seeing you next month. If there's any topics you think you'd like to have me cover, if there's some things that you think are important to our industry that we need to look at and discuss, let me know. I'm more than happy to put that together and make it a topic for the next show.
Awesome. Thank you.
All right, guys. Good night. Take care. We'll talk to you.
Yeah. Thanks, Darren.
Bye-bye.